Just told me it's being live streamed.
Yeah, we've been talking all this time.
Yeah, it's
Football
been
fans, goodness of the world. This is Shota. I hope you are hearing me.
Just told me it's being live streamed.
I think it is live. We are live streaming.
Yeah, it's been
Football fans, goodness of the world.
I won't do.
I hope you are hearing me. Okay. Are you hearing me, guys?
Yep.
Still hearing me?
Yeah, twice.
Is it still doing that double thing?
No, that's all right.
Okay. Well, we're good to go. Hope our fans are hearing us. Thanks, Ehab and George. I get up very early for this. You guys have been up, had your 2 cups of coffee, had your breakfast. I just barely had a cup. Today, we are going to be, as usual, Friday mornings, our show to preview our upcoming game. And after Mikel Arteta's presser yesterday, when he said, I have seen the lights, to quote, and I've seen the bright lights, I decided that was perhaps a good way to start today's program, because he was conveying a note of optimism about the Burnley game. Although he said some very strange things before that about how his path to being a big player started with many sacrifices. And I found that very strange because he was in fact saying that was the same thing that happened in he was implying the same things happening in his route as a coach. You start at Manchester City, you end up at Arsenal, a very big club. And you are the protagonist in making some big decisions. So I kind of found it very strange, the parallels. But George, what did you think of Arteta's ramblings and his bright lights?
Well, I have to be full disclosure here. He annoys me so much, I don't watch any of his press conferences. He talks absolute bollocks, so why would I bother watching it? It's absolute nonsense and drivel he comes out with. So I haven't heard it. I've just seen that quoted. And no, I haven't seen any bright lights. I've seen a dim light fading into the distance that used to be Arsenal Football Club. But no, I mean, you're not telling me that 1-goal victory over Norwich is a bright light. Jesus fucking Christ.
Why am I not surprised? You have a somewhat different view. That's why I have the two of you on. What was Arteta trying to achieve there?
Well, I actually agree. There's nothing to see yet, but at least, he's trying to base confidence. As we said, losing is a habit. And he thought, okay, Burnley is in a bad position, so maybe we win over Burnley, go into the North London derby with a little bit of optimism and maybe get a result there. And this would have everybody on board. And this is what he's trying to achieve right now for the players and for the fans. It's too political for me, if you ask me. This is what politicians do when they try to convince you that, no, everything's okay and everything's great and everything's going fine. But, I mean, what else he's going to do? He cannot go out and say, okay, bear with me, guys. I'm still not a very good manager and I'm going to learn as time goes on and I'm going to do better. I mean, this is the truth. And there's no way he's going to come out and say this. And so we just have to listen, as George said, to the crap of, this political crap that's just means nothing whatsoever.
Yes, he got a lot of prominence on the .com at Arsenal. But so we got a win at home to Norwich. A fortuitous win. George and I analyzed it. And Mike Dean could have easily not given that goal, but we had 30 shots, 10 on target. So he set up that team, and in a way, a far more attacking team surprised us. What do we expect, George? What are we expecting at Burnley tomorrow? The record of Burnley in recent years is that last year we drew there. And even when we were at home, we won 1-0. If my records are right, I was on the PL site. It was my memory, really, that I should be contesting. And for the past 2 seasons, there's never been a huge victory there. 2-1, 1-0, draws at home. George, what are you expecting tomorrow? Yes, it is tomorrow.
Well, first of all, looking at Burnley, Burnley tend to blow hot and cold. Unfortunately for us, they're blowing cold at the moment.
Good.
So that gives us a decent chance. And again, full disclosure, watching Burnley is no more interesting than watching Arsenal at the moment. So I don't tend to watch them either. I have seen one game, and that was when they played Liverpool. It might have been the opening game of the season. And I thought they were quite good. But they didn't win, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't watched them since. I believe they were very physical with Everton last week.
Yes.
With murder. So I'm expecting even more physicality because we are viewed as a soft touch, and that's the way to go forward. So they'll be even more physical. The referees seem to be letting them get away with it. So I expect a physical encounter. I'm not sure we're up to it. We haven't got Granit Xhaka, who's just about the only one who won't take shit. So it could be, they're not playing very well, so we could do well, but they could also kick us off the park and we end up not doing very well at all. It's hard to say. It's not like we're flying and they're struggling. Both teams are struggling. And I haven't really seen enough of them after that Liverpool game to know what sort of chance we have. But I'd take a draw now.
George, I'm happy you mentioned that. The poll I put up in preparation for this this live stream, most fans, 40% said absolutely yes, and I put that in there obviously to see how convincing they were. I'm not quoting it now. I'm focused on talking to you guys. But 20% were, it could go either way. And a very small minority fear a loss. So the overwhelming majority expecting a win or a draw. Ehab, is that well placed?
Yeah, I think so. But as they said, Burnley is in a bad position right now. They haven't won in 4 games. They have conceded, I think, 8 goals, and they have scored 3. They have only 1 point with a draw at Leeds. They are not in a good run right now, which is actually dangerous for them because they have a brutal schedule around Christmas time all the way up to Feb. So I don't know if they're gonna recover from this kind of start. Sean Dyche has always been a good manager. He has his identity. They do have an identity, and I think I don't know if they're gonna recover, but they're in a bad place, and Arsenal should capitalize on that. So I think I'm expecting a win or a draw at least.
Well, let me just give you the actual figures. Absolutely yes, 37%. Cautious yes or draw, 28%. 29%. So that gives you pretty much nearly 60%. Could go either way, 16%, and fearing a loss, 18%. So the majority of fans expect to win. Despite a history. Pardon me, George?
They always do. If you were playing Manchester City, the majority of fans would expect to win. That's fans for you. There's no logic or reason to the polling figures. They're generally optimistic about our prospects, no matter how bad we're playing or how good the team is we're playing. That's football.
Right. And George, I'm glad you mentioned this, because if we suggest that we are going to the game as underdogs and likely to lose, it's signal as a note of disloyalty. You're not a proper fan, which of course makes it very difficult to talk reasonably about where we are. But Burnley is desperate for a win. They are below us in the table because on goal difference. I don't think have they won a match? No, I don't think they have. No, they haven't won anything. And but they are at home, which is a very difficult place for everybody.
Yep.
And George, they are going to come. My initial feeling was that we're going to be subject to an aerial bombardment. And I was looking at them versus Everton on Sunday. I think it was Sunday. And they tried to throw in balls at Ashley Barnes and Chris Woods and a lot of crosses. And we are very suspect there, don't you think?
Absolutely, we are. I mean, Ben White.
Our 50 something million signing, by the way, George.
Yeah, he's a good player, but that's not his best attribute, is he? He's like a set 3 out of 10 success rate when it comes to heading clearances. So yeah, that's what they'll do. And like I say, it'll be very physical. And what are we going to do? We're going to do the same. Kieran Tierney's spamming crosses in, except we haven't got Ashley Barnes and Chris Woods up front. So it could be we could get the ball on the floor. It could be a lovely sunny day. It's nice up here today, and I'm only about 10 miles from Burnley.
Yes.
We could get the ball on the floor, outplay them, and everything's hunky-dory. But our midfield will be at what? In order to control the game, we have to control midfield, and it'll be what? Partey and Le Congo? Well, they should be good enough to control that midfield. So, we've a chance. It's like, I'm not being pessimistic. All I'm saying is it won't be easy, no matter how badly their results have gone up until now, because don't forget, our results have gone equally badly. And I think if they'd played Norwich at home, they'd probably have 3 points on the board as well.
Yes, they would probably subject them to an aerial bombardment and try to overcome them physically, which is what they do. So Ehab, it's your opportunity now. And your time to bring the tactics board in.
We have to? Okay.
Yeah, but what kind of tactics? Well, you and I had an initial talk. You said that they have an open midfield. They obviously focus on their wing, they play on the flanks, and they don't have someone in the midfield to carry the ball and to dictate the game in midfield. That's not his tactics. I mean, He has this big old guy called whatever his name, Tomaszewski or whatever his name. But their best players play on the flanks. This is what I noticed from them. And will Arteta put a team of midfielders? You were saying that Wenger went up there some years ago and flooded the midfield, and we beat them 5-1 because we would then have cutbacks into midfield, and we had a ton load of players waiting for those cutbacks, and we gave them 5-0. What kind of team do you expect? Now, we are far from being a Wenger team. What kind of team do you expect against Burnley tomorrow?
I actually don't know. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be, as he said, Katie coming down the flanks and putting in crosses. We're going to attack the flanks all the time. We are going sideways, and it's hard against Burnley because Burnley are a practical team. They're a really practical team. They defend their goal. They don't give a damn if you go on the flanks. They have big players in the middle. They are clogging the middle. they don't give a damn whatever you do. You can go to the sides and put in a cross. There's gonna be like 4 big defenders in there, unless you make like an inch perfect cross, you're not gonna get it to a player. And even then, if your attacker gets it, he has to turn around with 2 big defenders breathing down his neck. They have 6 players over 6 feet in the team, and
Wow.
yeah, and it's I think 181 centimeters.
Yes, we have what?
Yeah,
You know,
almost.
they're all over 6 feet. Me and George don't. I hopefully me and George are still in the past. Right, George? They're all over 6 feet, and they're all up like, you know, nearly 200 pounds. They're not, you know,
The big guys, and
big guys.
The midfielders exist to defend and to make outlet passes. They're not there to control the midfield.
Mhm.
They're a practical team. They get the ball, 2 wingers run on the right, left and right. They have to just, you know, make an outlet pass, and they can put a cross in, or just, you know, make another long ball that goes all the way to Barnes or to Woods. Woods is 192. He's 6'3" and a half. And he,
Lovely.
I think he weighs 210 pounds. So I
And
mean,
all muscle to, and all, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I hope people, well, P fans know they're all muscle. They're not any, you know, there's not an ounce of fat on them, 2% maybe.
yeah, some of the fans are watching now. They're like, well, I'm 210 pounds. Yeah, but you're like 5'8", and you don't have a muscle in your body.
Yeah.
But you know, for Ben White, who's not even 6 feet, who's like 5'10", I think, and 170 pounds, if I'm not guessing wrong. He's given up 40 pounds and 4 inches on Woods, which is not going to be easy at all. I mean, you can jump, you can be athletic, but he can seal you off. It's like
he's not Cannavaro. He's not Cannavaro. I mean, Cannavaro was a small guy, but no, you remember him, George? You know, Cannavaro was a small guy and nobody could outjump him. Ben White is no Cannavaro. You know, I want you to bring a tactics board in here, but by the way, but George, George, what they're going to do, they're going to try to isolate either Woods or Barnes on good Mr. White, and then they're going to hope that Tomiyasu comes in, because Daesh is not an idiot, so they're going to have this this very nice left winger they have there. He's not playing like left wing, but what's his name? McNeil. He's gonna be hovering around him for the second ball, and that's gonna be the problem. Isn't that? Am I not seeing a tactic here? I'm sounding like a genius.
Yeah, that's probably what we'll do. But if Arteta's got any sense, and he has, he's not an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should play 3 at the back. We're gonna be in deep shit if we play a 2 and Ben White's one of them.
Right.
So for me, Gabriel and Rob Holding would play.
No, Rob Holding is injured, George.
Is he?
Yes, that was in the presser yesterday.
All right.
So there'll be no Rob Holding between Gabriel and what you may call it. Maybe he even takes Pablo Mari because he's a more.
Well, maybe we should get Saliba back. He seems to be top class. Okay, now.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what the answer is then, but it's certainly not going to be leaving Ben White in a 2. He'll get mullered, absolutely mullered.
Yeah. So, what kind of tactical insights can you give us that you have? Share your screen with us.
Let me share this.
Mm-hmm.
It's this right here. This is how the teams start mainly. We start in a 4-2-3-1 as always. They start in a 4-4-1-1 or 4-4-2. I was messing around with this. This is how it starts. I think we're gonna start in 4. He's gonna start in 4, which is for Arsenal is not wrong, but to beat Burnley, it is not. You don't need your wing backs or your fullbacks. You can do with the you can easily do with the wingers, and this is what Wenger did in his last game. there was some overlapping, but if Kolasinac was overlapping, Bierin was staying back, and most of the time it was Aubameyang on the left, and he had, I think, 2 assists and 2 goals in that game.
Yes, he feasts on. By the way, Aubameyang always has a good game against Burnley. He's getting a goal against them, and there's predictors up that he'll get another one. Go ahead, my friend.
They do have now. This is the most interesting position for them. This is Barnes, and he's one of the 4 guys under 6 feet, but he's a strong guy, and he's a 9.5. He can carry the ball, so he usually drops back to look for the long ball from the defense. Those two are usually McNeil or Gudjonsen or McNeil or Lennon. I think he's gonna start the guy that he bought from France, Cornet.
I don't even know anything about him.
He's a really good player. He's also 1.8 centimeters, 180 centimeters, and really quick, really skillful. It's a little bit of an interesting buy for somebody like Daesh. The problem with Burnley is how they defend. You see that they're defenders, and this is how they defend. There are 2 here. They defend in the same 4-4-2, but this is how they do it. This is it. Do you see how narrow these 4
Yes.
are? Mm-hmm. And if you go back to these 2, you have these 2 right here, and you have these right here. So the first thing that you have to think about is every shot is going to be blocked. They lead Europe in blocked shots over the last 3 years.
Really?
They have the most blocked shots. They have the most shots aimed directly at the keeper within the keeper. So they want you to shoot, so don't let that fool you. When teams have so many shots around them, they want you to shoot. They just don't want you to shoot good shots. It's impossible for an attacker to get the ball here and turn around and shoot because it's surrounded by 4. So most shots come from this area. They let them do whatever they want to do. Now, the problem is teams usually look at this and they think, okay, we can press them, or we can go at them. And the idiotic managers think, we just have to have more numbers up top, which is not you look at this, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 big defenders inside of the box, and any cross you're going to put in, no matter how many people you have here, is not going to find its target. You have to shake this up. And usually what they do is, let's go down with Aubameyang, let's go down with Saka, and let's go down, and Lacazette is lost in the middle if he starts Lacazette. Emmitt Smith-Rowe is going to go to the either side where the ball goes. Let's say he's down here with Aubameyang. Partey and Lokonga with their new assignments carrying the ball are going to be a little bit up front. And here they use this because they have so many people around them. And this is where the mistake comes. Of course, these people, Gabriel, and I think he's going to start Gabriel because of size. Gabriel and White are here. And we make a mistake of letting Kieran Tierney go down this way. What Burnley do, and this is Tomoyasu, what Burnley do is, once they get the block, or they get the ball, or the ball gets to Pope, they try to outlet to the side.
Yes.
And these 2 just go, as fast as they can. And this guy, who's Barnes, is going to run. Woods doesn't run as fast as him, but he's going to be trailing. By the time the ball gets out and gets here, can Kieran Tierney and Tomoyasu go back? This is the big thing. Are we going to have a big attacker and 2 wingers against Ben White and Gabriel all game? This is the problem that goes with playing Burnley, and people have been very aware of that. But they have played Liverpool, so Jurgen Klopp. They have played Everton, so Benitez.
Yes.
Played Leeds, so Bielsa, and all of those are smart managers who've seen it all. And now you come to a manager who has 80 games under his belt. So now is going to be the first time he sees this. And this is why people don't score against them. Now, what Wenger did in his last game, just I know Wenger's gone, and I'm not supposed to talk about Wenger. People are gonna start crying, but what Wenger's done in his last game is, I have space here. I'm gonna put as many midfielders here as I can. Even Mustafi was up here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to try to work some kind of triangle in here with a little bit of small ones to shake this a little bit. So what's going to happen is these people, when you push them back, they are going to get a little bit narrower, and they are
Right.
going to try to get this more narrow. And these guys are going to have to back to be in front of this. Okay. So now when you got Ozil with the ball right here, and they have to try, either they're going to have to open up this and give some space to Lacazette and give some space to Ramsey, or they're going to have to bring in this guy, which is what they did. And every time Aubameyang slipped here, Ozil found him with a pass, and he had an easy cross.
Yes.
And he had it because we just just raffled this area a little bit. We didn't get him get comfortable. Let them get comfortable. They are more comfortable at home. We have the wingers, we have the smart players, and Emmett Smith Rowe and Saka. If what's his name, Pepe wants to try his crap of cutting in and thinking he's Robin, he's gonna have 8 block shots, and they're gonna just put it in a tweet at the end. Pepe had 8 shots. 6 on target, but the ones on target are bubbles that just the ball bounced to Pope, and he had to run to it to carry it and to catch it, and this is what's gonna happen. This is the tactics board. All you have to do is to be safe. You don't need 2 fullbacks to beat Burnley. They are Burnley. You're gonna have all the shots and the tries you have. All you have to do is just be smart, be surgical, intricate, try to work things like a chess match, and it's gonna open up. You're gonna find the openings. You score first goal, and they are gonna be a little bit more open. They're not gonna they have to defend the numbers because, as I said, they get the ball here. It's either goes this way or either goes this way, and you have 2 big players in the middle running. And then you have to be careful about this.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you to leave that thought with us, and I'm gonna ask George to react to that because George, could you take the tactics board down, Ehab? George, I think Ehab is right in a way because then when we reflect, so what do you I know you said it before, but what do you expect Arteta to do? Do you expect him to play? Well, he's going to play Partey and Lukonga, but they're not, to use Ehab's word, they're not surgical in passing. I know they are, they're nice physical specimens. Will he play both ESR and Odegaard, who are better passers? Ehab, could you take the tactics board down so I can bring George back up all the way? Yeah, thank you. Yes, George.
I don't know. Like I say, I think he will play Partey and Lukonga, and I think they are good passers. I think they're both decent passers. I'm not super impressed with Partey up until this point, but doesn't mean that he can't pass the ball. I think he can, and I think he'll have quite a bit of space, as he have pointed out, because they drop back deep. So he could have a good game, but Congo, he's a good player. That's not my worry. My worry is that, from what Ehab's just said, the problem is we don't have a Ramsey. We don't have a Mesut Ozil anymore.
Mm-hmm. Those are
so trying to use Wenger's tactics with lesser players. I'm not sure about that. I have no idea what he's going to do. Yeah. And as he had pointed out, if Pepe is Pepe, then they're just going to eat him up. He's going to be running into traffic, losing the ball, or spamming it towards the far post, and they're just going to cut it out. You know, we need some intricacy, but our intricacy would come from Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka, and I think they have 1 goal and no assist between them in the last 18 games or something.
Yes, I saw that stat, George. Which, by the way, George, you and I should not be surprised about. We spoke about this in some, you know, but we didn't want to harp on it. That you're depending on the young guys to do the work that Mesut Ozil and, you know, used to do. And it's anyway. It amazes me that people think. It amazes me that people think that expecting that level at 18 and 18 years old, and they're not Cesc Fabregas. They're not Cesc Fabregas. Go ahead, George.
I can't see us playing both Emile Smith-Rowe and Odegaard away from home at Burnley.
Yeah.
What do I know? Christ, they could do anything. I mean, he really could do anything. There's no limit to what he might try. And everybody, and then some clown on Twitter will write a thread that's 30 tweets long, explaining how much of a genius his tactics are, and we'll have to believe it. So
we have to believe
it. I have no idea
it.
what he'll do, and I have no idea what the outcome will be. You know, it really is. It's finger in the wind stuff.
Yeah.
For me, I'd like to be an expert, and I'd like to say I've got up to now 4 games in. Everything in every game I've said would happen has come to pass. Everything. I've been right every time, and I have no idea what will happen next.
Well, I wish it was so, because last week we never thought he would be so attacking, for instance. You weren't on. Me and Ehab are doing this. Ehab, what's your, George, before I'm gonna wrap this up, gone 30 minutes nattering. What is your final prediction?
I think
George, before I get to come to you, Ehab. George, what's your final prediction?
Right, I'm gonna say 2-1 to Arsenal.
You are too you don't want to make a prediction against Arsenal, or the Arsenals will say how you are.
No. If I thought they would lose, I would say they lose.
Yes.
I'm not being blindly optimistic. We have better players, and I think the spirit's all right. I gave Arteta credit for that in our last podcast.
Mm-hmm.
For all his faults, he's sending them out with spirit and fight. So spirit and fight, and our superiority in quality, despite the fact that we're away from home and the referee will probably let them punch the living shit out of us.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll win 2-1.
And you, Ehab, give us your prediction.
I think it's going to be close, like 1-0 is like a default result at Burnley. So I think we're going to win 1-0. Try to snatch a goal. They're not going to give us as many chances as Norwich, but I think we have good enough players to steal a goal.
Aubameyang, that's where he gets his goals usually.
Yeah, and they the thing about their setup is if the ball bounces the wrong bounce, they have, this is something that you have to risk when you block takes the wrong bounce. And Aubameyang is totally sensitive towards this. He always seems to be at the right place at the right time, like Cristiano Ronaldo, for example. I think the guy's gonna nick a goal and see how it goes.
Well, if we win, it's only by the odd goal. There's nothing here since Wenger defeated them 5-0. It's been like 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, and I don't see a big victory. I don't see 2 goals, George. I'm sorry to tell you, I don't see 2 goals. But I might be wrong. I've been wrong on many things before. But anyway, guys, we have gone on for over 30 minutes. I thank you, Ehab, for giving us some insights. I hope our fans appreciate what you did, and I'm emphasizing this because we're trying to bring some reason. I mean, we read all these people. By tomorrow will be all over the map. But I think I'm going to be looking out for how they set up, how narrow they are, how they try to be physical against us. So I'll be looking out for that because you've left that thought in me. And I'm hoping for a win. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, George. Bye.
Bye.
George,
We're still on.